heart bleed tonight. If I am sad tonight, I don't have a job to find. And if I work tonight, if I'm so tired tonight, I'll fall asleep when I'm home. When I'm home.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome live here in Bristol. That's right, the last great Coliseum here. Bristol, Tennessee here for the Bristol Motor Speedway. Live for the Sim500 Monday Night Winter Series. The Money Series for the trucks tonight. I want to tell you what, we've got a treat for you because, hey, this is a battle arena here tonight for some trucks. Well, I'm Joe White up in the booth, and I'm accompanied as always by Harrison. Harris, how you doing?
I'm all right. Looking forward to some great racing tonight. Bristol doesn't get any better than that.
Oh, you're right, man. And Bristol is definitely one of these tracks that, you think you've got it made here. You come out dominating, and the next thing you know, danger lurks around every corner.
It seems like you could be in lap traffic after just 2 minutes of this racetrack, so it's like you never really get a breather, even if you're out there leading the race.
Yeah, 100% there. Well, we have got a huge field, 36 of some monster trucks out here about to do battle. And I'm going to tell you, I'm proud to announce here for the Sim500, I told you at the beginning there while we was off the air, Harrison, hey, we made it Iracing Live here tonight. So not only are we on YouTube, we're on Twitch, we also made it Iracing Live here on the front side for these guys here at Sim500. I want to appreciate everybody over at Iracing for letting myself here at OSRNetwork, let the league here at Sim500, letting these drivers showcase what they can do because this place is full of talent.
Yeah, I mean, we've really seen a lot of great races, and so, big plus to be able to bring it to more people, more race fans, more iRacers. Sim500 has put on some great shows, and, it deserves to be watched by a lot more.
Yeah, absolutely. 100% there. I agree with you. It's definitely going to be interesting. 37 now as we just see old Michael Guest. Wow, I'll tell you what, that's a huge name there. Went wrong with Malik Ray. Just to name, I mean, I could sit here and who's who through this whole thing. Also want to throw out something. EJ O'Rourke. Let me get my stat here right fast, Harrison. There's a statistic out here that EJ O'Rourke has broke. EJ O'Rourke tonight will be his 100th start, and he's the first driver to reach that milestone in the Sim500. And we want to recognize him as EJ O'Rourke is one of the past truck champions here.
Yeah, a champion. He's won a couple races here at Sim500, and kind of old school. He's just always at the track. He's always there. If he's not racing, he's watching. He's spotting. He's always around, and so. That's cool. That's a cool milestone. 100 starts. I didn't even know we hit 100 races, but I mean that's really cool stuff.
Absolutely. Well, I'll tell you what. I mean, some good things going here with Sim500. Yeah, I got to talk with EJ also, and I got to talk with Malik and those guys around. And you're right. EJ's one of those unique style guys. Very fast, but very very aggressive style. He likes being very aggressive on his racing, which hey, some drivers are. Some drivers aren't, but he makes nothing about it. He'll tell you right off. He says, "I like going for it. I like trying to go for the win."
Yeah, and as a personality, he's pretty laid back. But I guess that's pretty common in racing. It's just funny how that works. How a laid back personality can be really, really aggressive on the racetrack. But that definitely describes EJ.
Yeah, 100%. So, what do you think we're going to see here tonight as we're in the middle of qualifying here at Bristol?
I think an argument over room. It's kind of like a roller derby track on the NASCAR circuit. You have the high banks. There's no room. There's a lot of contact. Maybe someone will be slammed into the track a few times. It's just high side is highly relevant here. A lot of people qualifying on the high side right now, and I think it'll be interesting to see how they negotiate that as far as where to place their trucks, especially in a side-by-side battle.
Well, I couldn't agree more with you there because it is a tight place, and usually the high line is the place to be. As it looks like qualifying is beginning to come to a close here, folks, and it looks like old Michael Guest is going to be the man on point.
Yeah, he was the guy to beat at our first race of the year in Chicago. Started from the back last week, but starting from the front this time.
Absolutely. Well, is there anybody that you might see that might just jump up there at you that might take this one here tonight?
Yeah, it's Steve Minson and Byron Daly are starting in the back, and Byron Daly just caught my eye because that's a peak antifreeze series driver, a DWC, if you will. Really aggressive driver, great driver. I have to think Byron Daly is going to get up there, but if he doesn't get a qualifying lap in, he is really negotiating a lot of traffic, and it's hard to pass here. Chad Coleman won last week. He's starting 20th, so there's a few guys who didn't get the qualifying run in who I think we'll see, rise, go higher on the scoreboard there.
Yeah, 100% there. Agree with you on it. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see what when transpires out here. Joe Hudson out there, like you said, he's trying to get his qualifying lap in. He's currently sitting in 18th right now. It's not too bad, but track position, you said it. I think that's going to be the key tonight. With this many trucks, no fast fixes, by the way. We already know that one, Harrison. So, wow, that's in the back of these drivers' minds. With this many trucks, this much talent, and this much just go, it's going to be interesting to see, because you're in the back there. You're in the danger zone, so to speak.
Yeah, it's not a very wide racetrack, so when something does happen, you don't have too many options. It's not like there's a safe haven or a ginormous apron of the racetrack to go to avoid it all. You'll see, if we have one of those, maybe we'll get lucky and we won't see any big accidents, but odds are we will, and when it happens, if and when it happens, you'll see drivers literally come to a stop on the racetrack. I mean, it could just get completely blocked here. So Dover's notorious for that. This is like a half the size of Dover, another concrete track, very similar, but less room.
And it's a pretty fast track too. I mean, they run some pretty good speeds here. Well, you notice in qualifying and practice, they normally take that high line, kind of arc in low, and it kind of drifts up. That's usually, that means it's kind of one groove here at Bristol. And that's how it is pretty much in real life and whatnot also. So when you say hard to pass, that's usually the sentiment right there. I mean, they will start out double file, but they'll eventually try to get single file the best they can. Unless you go way back in the back of the pack. Now, next thing is cautions. How many do you think? I mean, it's bound to happen.
Oh boy. But I'd love to see fewer than 10. We could go above that, but these are so unpredictable because sometimes you go in and you expect the worst and then it goes green for a long time. So You never know.
Well, there you go. You got Harrison's pick. He said 10. Tell you what, I'll go 11. Anybody on the chat out there, you want to throw a chime in? I love doing it on the short tracks like this. We'll go ahead and say, hey, is it how many cautions you think? Because I think qualifying is done here and concluded. Michael Guest looks like he's the man, going to be on point there with Justin Fuller in second, Rick McBride there in third, Thomas George fourth, Chad Cole sitting in fifth. One lane, that's right, going to be interesting, Don. You're right out there in chat. Very interesting. It's Bristol. Who knows? But here we go. We're getting set to go racing, folks. As we've got a huge field here. Let's grid these things up. Michael Guest puts it on pole tonight with Justin Fuller on the outside there in second. Rick McBride third. Thomas George in fourth. Chad Cole in fifth. Brian Boris Cook there in sixth. E.J. O'Rourke, we were just talking about it. We're going to call him the Hunter Race Man right there. Mr. 100 starting in seventh. Scott Formosa in eighth. Ninth place, Steve Gonkowski. I almost say Kikowski, but it's Gonkowski. I might have messed that all up. Apologize. But he's starting ninth. And then James Pescarella, he rounds out the top tens. We'll look through the rest of this field. Like I said, I'll say it again, Harris. Wow, star-studded.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and even outside the top 10, a lot of guys up there with a lot of speed, a lot of racecraft, but who's not in the top 10, but who are here tonight? Pedro Mega. That's a name we haven't said yet. Malik Ray, Bobby Terrell, last week's pole winner, is starting 15th in this one. Coleman will be 20th. Mike Kelly finished second last week, I believe. He's 22nd. Byron Daly starting 29th. Steve Minson 30th. Oof. There's a lot of competition back there.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. There's so much competition, only so many spots you can get. and almost only so much real estate you could take here on this track. So we got 38. That's some bad fast boys and some bad fast monster trucks around a bad fast little coliseum of a track here tonight. I want to welcome everybody out here because we're about to get this thing done, and on the way, as these boys are about to do battle, and battle they will do. What's going on forward out there, Tom? Steven says, good morning from the UK. All right, they made it worldwide, Harrison.
Worldwide. Yeah, we've seen that a lot this year. You might watch every one of these races, or we have a contingent in the UK that's just growing.
Absolutely. Well, I do have a few guys that actually are from across the pond. I guess that's how you'd say it. But they're over there. I've had some that got some drivers that actually are from there, Netherlands and stuff like that, that actually race and whatnot. So it's interesting to see as these guys are getting wheeling off here. There'll be a couple laps. The pace car will take them around. They'll do battle. Man, me as a driver, I'd get goosebumps. Me as a broadcaster, still get goosebumps.
Oh, it's nerve-wracking. I know that feeling those drivers feel as they're coming to the green. They're just hoping for the best. They're on edge, and I'm on edge just like you are.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that man out front, 74 machine, he might be bad fast out there. The problem is he's got to be very, very careful and mindful also, because even once he gets out there, he's still got danger that can lurk around every corner. Well, what's going on? Appreciate it there, Ford. And Chris, how you doing? We got a question out there. Harrison says, Scott Formosa, the family that runs Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway? I don't know. Maybe Harrison knows.
You know, I'll look that up, but I don't have an answer for that myself. But I'll do a little research here and have an answer before too long.
All right, good deal. Well, maybe you can jump and poke Joey Katina, and Joey Katina might be able to know it. Pace cars in. Here we go. Green flag. 175 laps of pure mayhem here at Bristol, and Michael Guest gets a jump out front with a 51 right there on his tailgate, and he'll try to dive on the inside as they'll make it 2x2 into the turn coming out. I just want to see how well that inside groove is going to work here, because I think the high line is the best place to be.
Yeah, Justin Fuller trying to make good use of those fresh tires as they have the most grip that they have, but it looks like they just don't quite have enough to get the move there, but they stay side by side. And you know what? Dynamic track conditions, the bottom might even get better as the top side gets hotter, but Fuller's still there looking strong.
Yes, he does. New tires definitely going to help out. Problem is, that popcorn machine in the 51 on the inside, he'll still take it neck and neck with him there as they come out of turn. Now he gives it up. Got a little loose. No, we're under caution.
Yeah, the number 6 is around, Jonathan Lockhart. A few more involved than him, but we'll have to get back and see exactly what happened to that Pepsi machine. But Jonathan Lockhart around, going a lap down right now.
All right, let's go back on to number 6. Back there in the midst of traffic here, a lot of trucks back there. And that's what I'm saying. Everything happened so fast here. He's on that inside, and inside just not where it needs to be at. Oh, yeah, well, actually caught up in front of him, wasn't it, 98?
Oh, yeah, my mistake on that. It was actually, I guess, the original incident. Nathan Bowers got turned around by Mike Kelly. Nathan Bowers, the number 03 truck. Tough break for him early, so the 6 was just kind of trying to slow down for the wreck, and, there's not many places to go.
No, and that's the thing we were talking about earlier. Not a lot of room here. This is not really considered I don't know if this is considered a self-cleaning style track, so to speak. Be one that would actually, clean, but that's not who we want to be on.
Yeah, I mean, similar to Dover, it's certainly got the same characteristics. Like, they call Dover a self-clean track. I would say Bristol has to be one. Whether they say it or not, I'm branding it one.
I got you. Well, if everything closes up, because it looks like the 17's involved, 12, the 8, the 6 is involved on that one. The 03 is involved in it. Just a hard lick here to be under caution for the first time tonight. Now, cautions will help the leader out here, Michael Guest. Problem is, it's not going to fare too well if you're in that mid-pack and back.
Yeah, and you'll see more people staying out on these cautions, with track position being so vital, it being hard to pass. But yeah, those people in the middle of the pack are certainly at a vulnerable place.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Michael Guest is our leader out here tonight, folks, here for Bristol International Speedway. That's our Bristol Motor Speedway. Not international, but sometimes I call them international. But either way, Bristol Motor Speedway here. They call it the last great Coliseum. I call it the Fish Bowl here, so to speak, kind of a racetrack here. It's just a battleground. I mean, these guys come out here and they do battle. Not only do they race, but they're bringing some monster machines to come out here and beat on each other. And we got a huge field, 38 trucks here tonight for the Sim500 Monday Night Money Series. Winter Series, that is, for the trucks. I'm going to tell you, it's awesome. I want to appreciate everybody out there tuning in here live. Because Bristol's one of these tracks, you definitely going to get your money's worth.
Absolutely. And, you know, I don't have a full answer for an earlier question about Scott Formosa, but it appears that he's from Tennessee and he has been to the Nashville Fairgrounds regularly. So I think there's a connection there. We'll have to get confirmation later, maybe even talk to Scott himself. But, ooh, it seems likely now.
Good investigating reporting. That's Pace Cars in. Here we go. Michael Guest takes off right there. And we'll definitely keep, I know Harris will definitely keep up with that and try to get a thing there. But hey, I'm going to be with you there, Harris. I'm going to say you're probably right. He's probably the man they're talking about.
Yeah, it'd be a bit too ironic if just Scott Formosa, who's hanging out at the Nashville Fairgrounds regularly, has no relation to the other Formosas. So, yeah, it looks like it. But
well, that's cool, man. You know, there's some star-studded guys up in here. Now, there's another driver up here, and correct me if I'm wrong, Brian Boris Cook. Isn't he like a PR guy for Joe Gibbs Racing?
Social media for Joe Gibbs. There's a caution somewhere. It's actually a big wreck in the back. The 6 is involved again, but I'm not sure where it started.
8 cars involved. Chad Cole's also involved in it.
Ooh, that started right in the middle of the pack, and as you were talking about, the middle of the pack, some heart-rending times. Looks like Byron Daly might have barely missed it. Just trying to find out where it started.
Well, E.J. O'Rourke and Chad Cole. EJ, man, went 3 wide, thought about it, tried to check up, couldn't get checked up in time, and they got contact with each other, and Chad went around. Now, I don't know, let me go back on the replay here, because I want to pause it and see. You said there was other cars involved, so I'm thinking that EJ O'Rourke, when he went to slow up, the other trucks might have tried to slow up too.
Oh, you know what? It was 2 incidents at the very same exact time.
Oh, really? Oh,
As we were on the other side of the track, we were entering turn 1, and Pedro Mega got really loose at a 14th. So EJ was up there around 5th, 6th, 7th. They started wrecking back here at the back end of the top 20, and it all started because the 48 of Pedro. He finished top 3 last week, and he might be out of the race because it looks like his motor blew up after that one.
Well, let's see if we can't go back on a replay and see what happened to Pedro and the Mega Machine out there. As we saw what happened right there between, there's a toasted few of trucks back there. We're going back here on this replay here. Wow. Well, that's a junkyard back there. Holy cow. Hang on. Let's go back one more time and see if we can't take it. Wow. Pedro Mega and company back there. I hate to see that, man, on his end getting involved in a huge one. But watch this replay. He just got loose.
Yeah, and he tried to recover quickly, and it snapped back the other way. Kind of like Eric Jones yesterday in the Cup race. Big overcorrect. That's just what happened to Pedro there. He entered turn 1. And it just snapped on him, and he tried to recover, and a lot of times they don't recover when they're that far gone.
And I'm going to tell you what, was a lot of trucks involved in that one. Huge pile up coming out of the turn. Yeah, he just lost it. Truck just snapped around on him. Nothing he can do as far as that goes. Well, yeah, you're right, John. A couple cautions, 12 laps in. That's kind of what happens here. This is, you know, it's a tricky place. Not a lot of room. You know, Harris said it before. Harrison said it before. Not a lot of room here.
Yeah, I was thinking that, you know, there was a good chance that we'd see people come just about to a stop on the racetrack when one of these broke out and really covered the track, and that's exactly what happened. One of the people doing that, Byron Daly, who started in the back, he missed that one, was running about 26th, and well, that's it's a stressful way to pass some cars, but when you get through those wrecks, it's an easy way to pass those cars, so long as you don't get involved.
Yeah, if you don't get involved in it, you're good to go. I mean, that's the best thing. Well, folks, we're here live here tonight at the Sim500 Monday Night Money Winter Series here for the trucks. And we're going to try to get some talk in with some drivers on it. The problem is, by the time I get done with a replay, they're ready to go back green like they are now, because we're about to get back set to go green.
Yeah, I was caught off guard by it last time, and they're already coming around 3 and 4. Justin Fuller this time on the high side. Michael Guest on the bottom. The leader pace car goes in. Michael Guest is off.
He is. He gets hammered down, takes off. Good jump by him out front there. Michael Guest behind him. That's old Justin Fuller. He's going to try it again in that 51 and try to see if he can't. He's not been able to get the jump that he wants. Behind him, though, you got Rick McBride hanging on to it there with Thomas George in fourth. And Brian Boris Cook again there in fifth. So they're all single file for like the top 9 here.
Yeah, Brian Cook, that Jurassic Park machine, had a tough run last week. Up here in the top 5 again. One of those drivers where he has a lot of speed, seems to be a bit unpredictable, but right now, nose to tail there with Rhett McBride, Thomas George. Rhett McBride, another driver who looks good. Oh, we have another caution.
Yep, another caution. All right, that's what we got.
Yeah, I'm looking for the start of it. It looks like...
Well, it put me on the 80 machine, Iracing did, but yep, 80 got up into the wall, but I don't know if that maybe made a chain reaction. Oh, no, there's a truck right there beside it.
I think it started with the 25, Chris Scabot.
Okay. All right, let's, yep, you're right. The 80 got loose, spun up into the wall, and the wall helped him get straight a little bit. But then what happened is he was side by side with the 25 there, Chris Cabot. Is it Cabot or Cabot? I know we had this conversation before.
That's actually one I'm not sure, but I tend to go with Cabot.
All right, good deal. Cabot. Then we're going with Cabot.
Yeah.
The Cabot. Yeah, the 80 here, he was battling with the 1 machine, and they got together a little bit, went up into the wall. 25 there, Chris went on the inside. And when he went on the inside, he just lost it. And there's something we haven't talked about too, Harrison. What we saw done right there, and E.J. O'Rourke almost again in a 68 machine spinning around. So everybody having to check up there in the back. But something we haven't talked about. You can get very loose coming off these turns very quickly.
Yeah, and certainly when you're running the bottom, you don't quite have that grip. Sometimes you get real tight, pull on the wheel, just tight, loose. Also, it feels like there's like a transition between the different grooves here. There are multiple transitions, and so you get to the exit, and it certainly feels different on exit than it does in the center. And that's what it looks like with Chris Cabot, just snapped on him exiting turn 4.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I tell you what, man, as of right now, this is looking pretty good so far. This thing, man, out here is got Rick McBride and that man Justin Fuller out here. They're sitting actually second and third.
Yeah, I think Michael Guest might have led every single lap so far. Fuller and Rhett McBride, definitely 2 guys we have spoken about a lot this year. They just seem to have that top 5 speed every single week, depending on the circumstances. Justin Fuller had a rough go at Atlanta, though. It certainly shows you how much things can change over the course of a race. Fuller had a heated up right rear tire that led to a series of incidents that led to him finishing, I think, somewhere in the 20s. That truck was beat up by the end of it. But Fuller won Talladega. He ran top 5 at Chicago. Ran top 5 in the other race. I don't remember where we were. But, yeah, we've seen a lot of that popcorn machine.
Yeah, absolutely. Justin Fuller's been there about every race we've had. He's actually won one, I believe, this season. But he's been there. Has he won one this season? Oh, it was last season.
I think he won Talladega this season.
That's right. I know it was something, man. We had that 51 in there. So he's definitely been there, so it's awesome.
Yeah, a lot of speed from him. Michael Guest kind of been back and forth. Seems like he's either dominating or somewhere in the back wrecking, but Michael Guest, I think he's led every lap so far, and as we're coming to this restart, he's going to be in control once again.
Yeah, absolutely. Here we go. Pace car's in. Michael Guest gets a good jump again. He got Justin Fuller right there on his tailgate trying to see if he can't get a jump and hold that outside lane. If he can get that outside lane, he might be able to get a run coming off the turn. Didn't get it done right there as Rick McBride's on the high side. He's in third. The fourth place man, Thomas George, looking good also. You got old Brian Boris Cook right there in fifth. Well, we got a battle for the lead.
Yeah, the 51 of Fuller, he barely squeezed his nose there on the outside of Michael Guest, and look at that, made it work. That high side was where he needed to be, and made that pass for the lead over a guy who was not passed at all at Chicago. So, I mean, Michael Guest really been dominating when he's been here, aside from, last week when he started in the back, got involved in a crash. But Fuller out front.
Yeah, that 51. He took that thing on the high side and power moved it there. So he's running away with it on the 74 there, Michael Guest. And you still got Rick McBride back there. Thomas George sitting there in fourth. Brian Boris Cook, there in fifth. And Malik Ray, haven't mentioned him much tonight. Got the Skittles machine. He's sitting there in sixth.
Yeah, and he started 14th, so, he's quietly made some moves. I think he's avoided at least one of the wrecks that started in front of him. I believe at least one of them started within the top 10, but, it's hard to pass, so now that they're all single file on the top in front of him, I'm kind of interested to see how this one truck is going to work the bottom, as you already see him tucking underneath the 63 of Brian Boris Cook, working that bottom. Cook gets into the wall, and that'll be all that Malik Ray needs to get back in front of him, or get in front of him for position number 5, so up to 5th.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely good running so far. It's like Malik Ray took over, like you just said, he took over that 5th spot of it. And Steve, I'm going to try to say that last name. Maybe help me out here, Harrison. Goschalk?
I always heard Gottschalk.
Gottschalk. Okay, good deal. Well, he's got the nerd machine. I think old John Marine out in the chat out there, he was yelling. He said, "Look at that nerd truck," and or Nerf truck, excuse me. And nice looking paint job, by the way, on that machine. As we're at lap 33 here, 175. Looks like these guys have gotten single filed out a little bit, gotten calmed down some. And we've still got 38 machines, actually 37 of them out here running.
Yeah, it's such a long race too, 175 laps, where I think they realize we need to get going here. And that 91 you just mentioned, Steve Gottschalk, he's run that Nerf scheme for years. It's just sometimes a scheme sticks and they just keep it. They just like the way it looks, and it feels like the way Gottschalk feels about that Nerf scheme, because he's run it on a lot of vehicles.
Yep, absolutely. Looking good so far too. Whoa, I'm gonna tell you what, riding along with James Pasquarella, he loops it. That's going to bring the caution out. And he did the same thing the 25 did we were talking about a minute ago. Came out of the turn, and it just came around on him.
Yeah, he tried to make that move on the 91 in front of him, and the grip just wasn't there. It seems like you got to be careful when you cut underneath, or when you can't come all the way up the racetrack. It just unbalances the truck. And solo incident there. I don't think anyone else got involved. No one spun approaching it.
That's it. And solo in there, but maybe since we saw that one live, it'll give us a chance here to talk with somebody. And I'm trying to see. I don't see Justin Fuller in here. Well, anybody out in the chat got any family members?
And certainly a congested pit road too, or even under caution, these guys, their tension doesn't, get alleviated very much here. They're pretty busy here, until they get back behind the pace car. A very busy pit road. A lot of drivers came on down.
Absolutely, they did. I was even looking for E.J. O'Rourke. Don't even see him in here. Wow. Well, Who you want to talk to, Harris?
We could talk to Steve Gottschalk if he's not busy right now. He's
Is he here?
Steel Horse Racing driver. There's a Steel Horse Racing team speak room absolutely loaded.
I see
Got
that.
like 10 drivers in here.
All right, let's bring him up. Let's get a talk in with him right fast before we go back green.
Hey, Steve, we were wondering if you have a minute to chat here under yellow.
Sure.
One of the viewers in the chat was taking note of the Nerf truck, the Nerf colors, and I was thinking to myself, that scheme's been around for a while. What was the inspiration for that? How long have you used it?
It's a pretty long story, but it goes back to when I first, my first screen name way back on the Total Entertainment Network was NRF-91. And a lot of my friends used to tease me that I got that because I was going to Nerf them. So I painted, when we could finally paint our vehicles, I decided that I would put Nerf on mine to make fun of them.
And it stuck.
It stuck. I've been using it ever since.
Well, you won a championship with those colors, and you've been looking good tonight. How you feel about this racetrack?
Boy, I don't know. It's, the competition's really tough up here. It's really hard to pass. I'm just hoping that I can keep this thing clean and in a spot where I'm not going to get run over and hopefully get a decent finish.
Oh, absolutely. A lot of attrition to worry about here, a lot of action here. And I think we might be coming to the one to go here shortly, so I'll bring you back to your teammates. And thanks a lot for joining us.
All right, thanks a lot.
All right, Harrison, that was our man there. Oh, he jumped his own self back down. Good deal. I was about to pull him down for him. As we're going to get set here to go back green flag racing again, Michael Guest is going to be out front here, folks. We're live here at Bristol Motor Speedway for the Sim500 Monday Night Money Series. Winter Series, that is, for the trucks here. And, short season, so these guys have got to do some things here. That's why you see so many of these guys, even though they're getting a wreck, points are very valuable as we're getting set to go green. We'll talk about that here in a second here, Harris. As green flag's in, and Michael Guest, boy, he has to be careful there. I think he almost spins the tires on the start. And we're going to see if Justin Fuller can actually get a run on the outside. Maybe Michael will protect that outside lane better this time.
Yeah, Michael Guest lost the lead we saw in that last run, but this time got the lead back on pit road, so Guest back in control. Fuller has to try again. That's a brutally frustrating thing as a driver when he passed Michael Guest, lost it on pit road.
Absolutely. Well, they're doing the countdown out there on this, Harrison, in the chat. For the cautions.
Oh, that's good. Less thinking for me.
Yeah. Yeah. You had 10, I had 11. I think somebody else had 15 out there, and I'm like, holy cow. Well, let's hope not. Let's hope we just go green for the rest of the time on. Which, I mean, this is a tricky place. We've seen a lot of guys, they come out of that turn, they can lose it very, very easily coming out of it. You see on Malik Ray, he's on the move. He's right there in fourth. He could be a contender. He was up front. He was up front in the last race and then all of a sudden got in trouble. Bumped the wall. Messed his whole race up just like Michael Guest. So had a lot of heavy hitters in that last race. Not do so well.
Yeah, and Malik Ray he was the winner of the Monday Night Money Series Championship. As we see the number one, Malik goes underneath the 78, Brad McBride working the bottom, tries to get clear but can't. Brad McBride holding strong on the top. You see Malik Ray run higher in that corner, just trying to use more of that banking. Still side by side with the 78. Clears him.
Wow, good power move by that Skittles machine right there to clear that 78. And that's impressive to be able to do that on pretty good newer tires. The thing about it is, though, it's hard to do here, that inside run, unless you just got a mean machine out there.
Yeah, I mean, we saw Justin Fuller struggle to be able to pass Michael Guest for the lead on the bottom. Made quick work of him when he found that top side, but as far as like drivers within the top 10, we haven't seen drivers work the bottom for a pass. But more drivers are using the bottom here solo, though. They're testing the grip levels. They're moving all around this racetrack, searching for grip.
Well, here's the thing, too. Well, Michael, look at Justin Fuller coming out of there doing his best drift job. He's kicking it sideways in the 51. The thing about it is the 74's catching lap traffic. The tail end of the field. Now this is going to be the who's who of it, as he's got Justin Fuller, the 51 there in second spot, looking on his tailgate. Harrison, this is where danger lurks around every corner for the leader. You got to be very, very mindful and careful, because it's not the lap car's job to get out of the way totally if they're battling, but they should be, sportsmanlike about it.
Yeah, and usually they're just told, be consistent, run the same line, but you'll see it's a little bit confusing for a leader, because sometimes someone will just completely yield to the leaders, and get right out of the way. Another time, they'll just kind of keep doing what they're doing, and so it's kind of like a slalom. You just keep having to weave to the left and the right, because cars will stay high, trucks will stay high, trucks will stay low. So it's unpredictable. They're side by side in front of the leaders right now.
That's it. That's what I'm talking about right there. They're side by side. Got to get that thing settled out. And he's got a slew of traffic. Michael Guess now, well, he's got to modulate through that thing very carefully. He goes around the 9 machine, coming up on the 12 right now. And he's still got to be mindful that 51 is back there. And Malik Ray, he's sneaking into the picture back there in that number 1. Well, I tell you, this is where you get nerve-wracking as a driver.
Yeah, Justin Fuller is thinking, all right, how can I take advantage of these lap trucks and be able to make a move here? Michael Guess got through a lot of them pretty well, though, but certainly does help Malik, who's hoping that he could squeeze by those lap trucks quicker. In front of Michael Guess, an unpredictable lap truck. He had to kind of go every which way there to try to get above him. Right now, still above him, but Guess will clear him out of turn 4.
Yeah, he did. Cleared him out of turn 4. Wow, masterful job, man, of manipulating through those. And so did Malik Ray right there as we're watching. And here comes Rick McBride. Now, he's got old Thomas George right there on his back deck lid. Got the Snap-on Tools machine. And that's the number 5 there. Number 5 and 5th in the 5 spot. 5th place, Thomas George. Brian Boris Cook right there. Well, they're almost hooked together like a freight train.
Yeah, absolutely. Thomas George in the middle of that 3-truck combination. They work around a couple of lap trucks. Thomas George, much like many other drivers in this series, a champion elsewhere. Hasn't won a championship here yet, but you get a bunch of champions together and they all try to become the Sim500 champion. That's what makes the racing here so great.
Absolutely, and that's what the prize is at the end of it here, folks. That's right, the Sim500 Monday Night Money series. And the reason that money is in the title, because there is money involved in winning the title here. So to be the champ, you definitely want to work it. Oh, well, that's one way of moving a lap car. The 78 Rick McBride just did the bump and run on the 9.
Yeah, and the 9 didn't go fully around, so no caution. We stay under green. Maybe a little bit of hurt feelings, but that is one way to do it.
Yeah, no doubt. Hey, look, well, no fault on the 78. We obviously don't want to get up, sit up here and say it looked more or less like, obviously the 9 slower off the pace, and he caught him right there going into turn. The problem is the 78 now's got damage, and he does it again to the 12, and then all 3 of them, they go around. Rick McBride's around, caution's out.
Ooh, that's where you got to be careful. I think that 12, I'm not sure who the driver of the 12 is. He was involved in an earlier incident, and that's not going to be good for Rick McBride's race.
No, he closed in. Let's watch the replay. Yeah, just caught the rear end of him. Then the 5 machine there, Thomas George had nowhere to go as soon as Rick checked up and got in the back end. Kind of an accordion effect, so to speak, there on that wreck. Hate to see that with them. Wow. But that's the thing we were talking about, flirting with disaster. It happens here.
Yeah, that was a moment of unpredictability. The reason for that was Joe Hudson in the 12. He was running higher as the lap truck. Rhett McBride thought, all right, I'll go lower. What happened was Joe Hudson arced the exit a little bit more than Rhett McBride was expecting. So that was not an attempt at a move, but rather just a real estate mistake. And I didn't catch where, but I think there were more trucks in a separate incident that possibly was started just by virtue of trucks slowing for that incident. I think there were more trucks that got damaged in the back, but I didn't catch who they were.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I tell you what, right now, man, it's been a very good one so far. These guys out front here been on a very good show, man. Love what these guys are doing. As we're at lap 66 of 175. It's moving pretty good so far as everybody comes into the pit road now. Is it pretty much what you thought it would be here at Bristol?
Yeah, you have those moments where you get a bunch of cautions in a row, and then sometimes you get a little bit of a groove. So we've seen some green racing. Hope to see a little bit more, but man, it's just a tough track to navigate. I mean, we saw what those leaders were doing to navigate through a lap traffic, just 5, 6, 7 trucks worth of lap traffic, and they were. I mean, it's looking like a police chase out there. Just weaving like a movie scene.
Yep, absolutely right there. I agree with you. These guys definitely are being well sorry about that, folks, under the conditions that they have, which is Bristol, and it's Bristol Motor Speedway, obviously. So I mean, I don't know, I really didn't ever like this place too much.
People used to think of Bristol as, when it was a low-line track, you couldn't really pass. When it comes to iRacing, I feel like it was easier to pass when it was a low-line track. Now it's extremely hard to pass. And so I'm one of those people who, I used to love Bristol, especially as a sim racer myself. I used to love coming here and racing at Bristol. But now, it's basically a track I always avoid. It just feels way more frustrating these days to try to work traffic and work a pass than it used to. It used to feel a lot easier, so it's tough, man. It's tough to like this place sometimes.
It is. Well, we got some new guys up front. What do you think about this one? Braden Whitaker, Michael Guest still up there, Malik Ray along with him. You got Paul Nicholas Cooper right there in the mix, and the 18. I think John Marine out there said, is that a Reading Rainbow truck? I'm not sure, but again, Harrison can get on that one for us. But look at that 4. That Lowe's machine gets a jump. Problem is, spun the tires. I don't think he went into the pits. And it's going to show. Malik Ray dives on the inside. It's going to take it away. That holds up Michael Guest a little bit.
Yeah, it really does. Michael Guest has to deal with traffic. Malik Ray to the lead for the first time this race. Oh, by the way, Byron Daly, that peak antifreeze driver, he's joined this exact battle. He's in 6th right now. Started 29th. I'm sorry, he was 33rd in practice, started 29th.
Holy cow, you was talking about it earlier, had a long way to go. He's moved it up there into 6th. You're right. Man's just methodically, one by one, picking them off, and he's still picking them off here as he moves it into 5th. Up front, Malik Ray, he's looking to bounce back here, though, folks. And Justin Fuller. So we're going to have a 3-truck battle here just in a minute. Actually, might have a 4-truck battle because you're talking about Brandon, that Byron Daly. Well, Byron Daly is coming in a hurry.
Yeah, already up to the top 5. I mean, Byron Daly is a driver who, it's a shock he hasn't won a Peak Antifreeze Series race because, he's just found himself in some wrong situations. He's been up there competing for wins at that level. And so he's going to compete for wins at this level with drivers similar speed like Malik Ray. Well, we'll see how similar the speed is. I mean, for all I know, the 06 is a truck to beat, but Malik Ray's battling with Justin Fuller for the lead. Fuller working the bottom like he was earlier, Michael Guest, but not able to use it. Malik's running way high on the racetrack.
Yeah, he is high on the racetrack. Still might be the place to be because if you try that low line here, it'll be interesting to see. Now, Justin took that pass on Michael earlier on the high side. He might be thinking about that again, but he is testing the waters on the low side, and it's good to see. Peak antifreeze drivers, yes, John, peak antifreeze is actually the top tier oval. That's the best of the best that you can get to. That's what you get to on the top side. They run every other Tuesday. Obviously, the season's ended there. They'll start to doing the recruitment stuff here soon in November. Jake Nichols, who runs in ExtremeMotorsports99.com. He's one. Bobby Zielinski, I know of him, is one of them. Ray Alfala, that's the biggest name I know of. Just to name a few of those guys, Brian Blackford. But it's good to see, man, other peak antifreeze. So if you hear us say peak antifreeze drivers, now you know what we mean.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know who was a peak antifreeze driver the first year of the series? Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Yeah. Oh, okay, cool. Didn't know that.
I always thought that's really cool. He was about seventh. He'd run about seventh or eighth. But for someone who races in real life, the 41 of AJ O'Rourke, I was riding near him, and AJ just got really loose. There's been a lot of action, but no yellows right now. The 89 of Wortman was backwards before it got going again. Just a lot of things going on right now. But kept it green so far. Hopefully that continues.
Yeah, just trying to get through this field. It's kind of tough here. A lot of trucks, a lot of action going on. Got action up front, action in the back. You still got Brian Boris Cook right here in fourth place. He's got his hands full with old Brian Daly right there all over his back end. He's trying, man, to see if he can't get a piece of that old Jurassic Park mobile. See if we can't get around him. And on the backside of him, you got Thomas George right there. And I'm sorry. I was going to answer Abbott out there. He said, no, it actually was Bristol race. I had the title wrong for Kentucky, but I switched it to Bristol for the right one.
Okay. Yeah, you were watching that Jurassic Park truck, and I'm just amazed sometimes when people run that high side really, really well. I mean, you see the back of the spoiler of these guys just inches off of that wall. Byron Daly, faster than Brian Boris Cook. Not able to really make a run on him right now. That's a situation that makes you frustrated as a driver. Like, if I could just get that, if I could just be in front of him right now, I think I could inch away from him, but we're too close in speed for me to do anything right now. I think that's the way Byron Daly's feeling at the moment.
And it looks like just the way the trucks are acting, they're very, very loose right now. They're just having a battle with these things. Chad Coleman, haven't spoke about him much, sitting there in the 7th. Chad Cole. There's another one, 8. He was involved earlier on. Almost ran up into the 20 right there. And then we're back there, Steven Goskov. He's got that Nerf machine. He's back. So there's 3 good trucks in a row right there. Pretty good. And Jonathan Cottle.
Yeah, I think Jonathan Cottle started from the back. And I'll have to see exactly where he started, but 33rd. Wow.
Absolutely. Got that Steel Horse racing machine. Man, check him out over on Twitch, folks. Steel Horse Racing TV there. I followed him along. Was one of the first ones I followed on when I got on iRacing. And man loves beer. I'll give him that.
Oh, that's right. Twitch TV, Steel Horse Live. And,
yep.
As we pointed out before, a lot of Steel Horse drivers here. And, that's a fun thing to do. You have the broadcast on one part of the screen. You have the onboard on another. It's interesting to watch.
Absolutely. Definitely. And, it's entertaining to watch some of them guys, too, as he's got Bobby Terrell back there, but he's trying to get around for the 9th place there. He's not had the season, though, that he has really wanted. Not been what he's expected. Got caught up in some incidents. Tonight looking good, though. Right now in the top 10 and looking for more.
Yeah, absolutely. And 91 laps into this thing already, so we got past the halfway mark without me even really realizing it. But, and a caution flag is actually out there's a truck that spun on the front stretch. That was the number 99, I believe that was the reason for the caution. I didn't see anything else happen, but the 99 of Glenn Campbell was turned around on the front stretch.
All right, let's see if we can't get on the 99 here and go back on the replay. Let the viewers see exactly what happened here. As he's coming out of the pits. I'm just wondering if he got on the throttle a little bit too much on the pits. No, there it is. Hang on a second. He came out of the turn. I had to go one more further back.
Really similar to Chris Cabot when he lost it out of turn 4. I believe someone else too. Very similar, but this time Glenn Campbell was on the high side, got loose, and just came around.
Yeah, he's on the high side, and he's got the set. Yeah, he just came around. And I've seen that too. Just come out of the turn and that thing loop it. And usually what happens is, you just give it too much throttle coming out, and it's so slick right here.
Yeah, and it's one of those things that changes throughout a run where, as the tires get older, you can't stay on the throttle as long as you were before. And these drivers all know that, but it's a guessing game. So they're trying to just anticipate exactly how much throttle they can give, and it becomes easier and easier the longer you go to just use a little bit too much.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll tell you what, it'd be interesting to see. Let's see who if real quick if we can't. I don't know how close they are to going back green. See how the lap cars are still out there. Let's see, who do you think we can get a talk in with right fast? How about Chad Cole?
Yeah, we can drag it.
All right. Bring up Chad Cole here. Chad Cole, Joe White in the booth. Got a copy?
Hey, how you doing, Joe?
Pretty good. I tell you what, look, we're watching these trucks out here, and after a while, looks like that track's a little slick out there, or it's just very treacherous coming off the turns. How do you feeling in your truck out there?
Well, 10-4, you got it right on the head. About 8-10 laps in, maybe even a little bit sooner than that, it starts to get a little bit loose, especially with turn 4 being in the sun, and I feel like turn 4 is a little bit worse than the other side. But it's a whole lot of fun once you get going here. Hopefully, I'd like to see some longer 30-40 lap runs here for you guys, putting a good show.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's been a good one here. Typical Bristol. They call it the last great Coliseum. I call it the battleground here, basically. And you guys are doing some battling out here. But you had a pretty good long green flag there for the most part. And like I said, what I'm seeing is as the green flag goes on, got to be on eggshells on that throttle coming off the turns. That's what I'm seeing. I don't want to speak for Harrison over there, but and basically you said it. So you think you got a truck? I saw you moved it up there to 5th place.
Yeah, we're just trying to kind of bide our time here and survive. It's almost like a plate track, just trying to survive till you get to the end. We were able to pick off some cars there and make some moves, but just gonna try to pace myself here too at the same time.
Absolutely. Well, I'll tell you what, good luck out there, Chad.
10-4, thank you.
All right, well, Chad Cole right there. Man's doing everything he can. He's methodically moved up through the field here, Harrison. He's getting set to go back green flag racing. And done a very good job. And he said the right thing, survive. Sometimes in this style race, it's not always about being the fastest truck, car, or anything. As we're going back green flag, Michael Guest again gets a good jump over Malik Ray this time. And Justin Fuller's going to follow in their tire tracks there. As Malik's going to try to take that high side along behind him. Thomas George will go door to door with Chad Cole. And Chad's going to hang on. But just a real quick, Harrison, like he said, survive. Sometimes that's the best thing you can do at a track like this.
Yeah, and you can get away with a little bit of casual contact here, but you can really, all it takes is one hit to just knock that truck to where it has a little bit too much damage in the front end, or it starts overheating, or it loses straightaway speed. Even though the straightaways aren't that long here, it has an effect. You need it to pull down the straights, and you need it to still rotate in the corners.
Yep, 100%. Well, we haven't talked about a couple of these drivers here making waves up there in the 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th place spot. That's old Bobby Terrell right there. Boy, that's a mix of trucks right there. It's the 91 checked up, and it was a traffic jam.
That was a 3 wide down the front stretch. You don't see that very much here, but I tell you what, these guys know what they're doing. They got out of there without even a worry.
Man, they pulled that off and made it look masterful doing it right there. I'd have done hit the wall and everybody in the grandstand if I'd have been out there. Good old E.J. O'Rourke. We're going to call him Mr. The 100 man. Man, show me the Benjamins. He got 100 starts here. The first ever driver to do that in the Sim500 history, and we're under caution. And it's in front of those guys, isn't it? I don't know. Hang on.
Oh, it started at the number 12, Joe Hudson. So Joe Hudson involved in another one, unfortunately, but it was the number 12 coming out of turn 4, or coming through 3 and 4.
Oh, yeah, and he's going to collect the 2.
Yeah, he got into the wall there coming through 3 and 4, and the 25 of Chris Cabot tried to avoid him, but the 12, having hit the wall, kind of was sliding down the track a little bit, and it just turned him around.
Oh, and I'm going to tell you, the gaps here close so quick as you see the 14 involved. The 2 truck just nowhere to go, wrong place, wrong time kind of deal. Almost got through it and then just got clipped on it. So hate to see that on his end. That's just how fast things can turn here at Bristol. And Chad Cole, he said it. I mean, we really don't have to say anything else, Harrison. It's pretty much a survival style race. Hey, it's Bristol, and that's why they call it. It's Bristol, baby.
Yeah, it can give you a headache. And I mean, just like Mike Kelly, who just mentioned getting involved in this one, Mike Kelly was already 4 laps down because, last week went great for him, finished second. This week, it seems like nothing's going right for him.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're out front here for the Sim500 Monday Night Money Winter Series for the trucks. And it's been a good one here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Michael Guest is your leader. Old Malik Ray right there in second. Justin Fuller in third. Thomas George there in fourth. Chad Cole rounds out the top 5. We started with 38 trucks. We still got 34 of them out here. There's a couple of them in the garage area trying to get fixed up, though, Harrison.
Yeah, a lot of people working on their trucks. A few guys, a couple laps down, just trying to stick it out, get every position they can because they know about the attrition. And, since Chad Cole's name's coming up quite a bit, right now it's still in the top 5. One thing I wanted to point out real fast about that number 8 truck, the die-hard colors on that Chevrolet. People watching might be, thinking that's a little reminiscent of Rich Bickle's Truck Series number 17 die-hard machine that he ran back in the 90s, and that's exactly what it is. Chad Cole, a Wisconsin driver. Rich Bickle, a Wisconsin driver. I think I put 2 and 2 together on that one.
Yeah, 100% there. Well, I tell you what, right now, been a very good one so far. Not sure on some of the paint jobs like you were talking about there, Harrison, though.
There's just a lot, and it seems like there's always a story for a paint job, but we know so few of those stories. We heard about the Nerf machine earlier.
Yeah. Well, what do you think about some of the outcomes here so far? I mean, what do you think we're going to see for the remainder of this race here? I mean, 107 to 175.
Track position being so much, it seems like pit road is a lot. Michael Guest, I think, got out in front of Malik Ray on a different set of pit stops, and Michael Guest seems like his pit crew is on it, and that might be what he needs to win this race.
All right, we'll place cars in. Here we go. Michael Guest almost spun those tires hard along with Malik Ray. They had to get on the binders just a little bit, and he didn't get a jump like he did, but still three trucks out front there. 51 to 1 into 74, looking good. Behind them, they're stacked up 2 by 2.
Yeah, absolutely. Those 3 got single file. Chad Cole on the bottom, trying to work the bottom. Clearly, Malik Ray was trying to work the bottom there for a second, not able to make it. But look at that. Chad Coleman in the 20 is going to be working the top above the 8 of Chad Cole. You got Cole and Coleman. 20 who won last week, going to get that spot, move up to 5th if he's just able to clear that number 8 of Chad Cole. But Cole on the bottom is making good work at that bottom and staying with it right now.
Yeah, he is. Right now, looking good so far. As these guys, man, are... Chad Cole actually right now is in a little trouble zone right there, as it looks like the 06 on the high side along with the 20 there, Chad Coleman, they're going to take that spot. Not a place you want to be there on the bottom side.
No, it reminds me of when you're sitting in traffic, you can't switch to the lane that you want to be in yet, and that high line is just inching away a little bit and you can't find your way in, but Cole does find his way in front of E.J. O'Rourke, so Cole's going to be back to 7th from 5th. Byron Daly up to 6th. Chad Coleman up to 5th.
Yeah, absolutely. Single file right now. That's so. We were talking about that Brian Daly earlier. Still sitting in the 6th spot right there. Chad Cole sitting in 7th. They're all right there. Look at E.J. O'Rourke. Slowly but surely been able to move it back up there. Got caught up in a little bit of incident earlier on. He's been able to power then move that thing back up front. And Bobby Terrell. Haven't talked about him much all night. Got the muscle milk out there, flexing his muscles here at Bristol.
Yeah, Bobby qualified 15th. Saw him running 11th not long ago, so that's certainly a steady climb. I'm right behind him, too. Right on his bumper is that Lowe's machine. Braden Whitaker, number 04, trying to work around the 7. When we last saw Whitaker, he had stayed out, was on old tires, just didn't have the grip of these guys, but now that we see him on even tires, or even a little bit better, that 04 Whitaker looks like he has some speed here.
Yes, he does. Definitely got a lot of speed here. As Brian Whitaker's right there on the back deck lid there, Bobby Terrell, and that 04. Now, he got caught up in a little incident early on also himself. And there's Steve Gottschalk. He's right there himself in the 11th spot. Scott Simley. I said it again. But I tell you what, look at his name real quick. That's how I go about it. Smiling. Oh man, smiling right now. He is in 13th.
Yeah, I think he's smiling because he too started in the back, so he's gained about 20 spots in this one.
Yeah, started 32nd position, and right now he's still got a pretty clean truck in that 68. Nice looking ride there, and currently running in the 13th. He's trying to move it up front there. Got Scott Formosa right there in the 80 machine behind him, and Jonathan Cottle right there in the 15th spot. So good group of trucks right there all in a row.
Yeah, you know who kind of got through a few of them just now with that 63, Brian Cook. I think I'm pretty sure he pitted on that last caution, and it's making it a little bit easier for that Jurassic Park machine to navigate through traffic. Oh, the 20 car of Coleman got way loose out of turn 4, hit the wall. No caution yet. There might not be a caution, but the 20 destroyed the inside wall.
That would be Chad Coleman, right?
Yeah, right out of 5th. He was running 5th when that happened, so that's a tough break.
Let me see if I can find him and go back on the replay here, because I'm still back here with some of these other guys, man. Wow. And just like that, Harrison, we were talking about it. That's how fast things can change. Like he got down on the apron a little bit, but he's I'll go back one more time here. Let the viewers see it. Oh, he lost it coming out.
Yeah, and he did get back going again without a yellow, fell back to 15th, but yeah, got loose. And sometimes it just feels like it never comes back. It'll go all the way to that inside wall. And, you know, Coleman last week, no mistakes. This week, a little mistake is really going to hurt him. But you could get away with some damage here, but it doesn't help.
Well, I'll tell you what, in the meantime, Michael Guest was out front. Malik Ray has taken the lead over from him. That number 1 Skittles machine has powered that thing to the front. Started 14th, currently running out front. Now he's in lap traffic. Let's watch and see how well he modulates through all this stuff here very carefully, because it's like we've said before. We saw Michael Guest go through it, and we'll see if old Michael maybe takes advantage of any of this.
Oh, yeah, I didn't realize when the lead change happened, but 10 laps ago, Michael Guest made a mistake, got stuck in the wall. Now Michael Guest is hoping Malik Ray makes a mistake navigating through lap traffic. Ray shoots to the bottom. 9 truck goes way up to try to give room to these leaders. Paul Cooper also about to go a lap down. And, you know, part of the problem here, some of these guys, they're going to fight to stay on the lead lap. But it looks like a lot of courtesy going on right now. But tight quarter racing there. Even with the courtesy, there's not a lot of room here. And you got to be extra careful. Michael Guest working the bottom there, just trying to get to that number 1 Malik Ray, but Malik in control right now, 74. Michael Guest just trying to get back to the top spot.
Yeah, right there. And he made it through most of that traffic right there, but I'll tell you what, Michael pulls up on the back deck lid. Maybe going to try to set him up. He's going to look on the inside. He's going to maybe try to pinch him with that lap truck. That's actually Joey Katina. You want to see what happens, because they are side by side, and there's nothing Malik Ray can do. Oh, they're going to take them 3 wide and touch. Wow.
Ooh, that's some exciting stuff. Katina gave as much room as he possibly could. Malik gets through there, still retaining the lead. That's a mission accomplished for that Skittles truck, at least for now. But we're about 43 laps to go in this one. Michael Guest on the bottom, making moves, trying to work that bottom to get back to the lead, but Malik's been doing enough to hold on to the lead for now, but you can tell at 74, Michael Guest has a little bit more speed right now. The question is, can he use that speed to actually complete the pass? It'll be really difficult, but even more lap traffic is going to be encountered here, so all of this will play into exactly what happens here. Malik Ray shoots to the bottom. Michael Guest high that time.
Yeah, he shot to the bottom because I think he sees what Michael's doing, getting on the inside, trying to pinch him up there on the high side again. As Michael wasn't able to get to him close enough before he got to those lap cars that time, like he did with Joey Katina there a minute ago. But that's the game plan I can see Michael trying to do right now, is catch him off guard. But he's going to have to cool them tires down, because he's abusing them right now, Michael is.
Yeah, and a lot of times when you try to work that bottom, you're using a little more wheel to not slide up into the guy above you in those when it gets side by side like that. But a lot of lap traffic here. They get through the 00. Don Runkle, Michael Guest a little bit farther behind than he has been the last few laps, though. But, you know, already closing the gap. Malik Ray, not sure which way to go on that lap truck, but they go to the high side. Looks like everyone's letting them go by high for at least this small pack of trucks.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's see what happens. Looks like Michael's going to have to settle on back down just a little bit. Maybe ease on some with his tires. That might be another thing. Will these guys be able to go the entire way?
I think so. Fuel gets you a long ways here, and I think they pitted at least. These guys last pitted close to about the halfway point, so it's a stretch. It's certainly a lot of laps, and the cars won't be driving well, but they'll have enough fuel to make it to the finish for sure.
All right, well, good deal. That's a good assessment. Now, I know we've talked about it before. What is the fuel percentage here?
I think I think it's set to 100%, where it's
Okay.
like an actual full size tank, which, you know,
Oh wow.
it's an understandable question because a lot of these leagues, you know, they'll make you run half fuel or 2/3 or whatever the options are just to increase pit stop frequency. But I'm pretty sure these guys are at 100%.
All right, well, here we go. Harrison, you got to guess how many cautions we've had so far? I'm going to show the summary here of tonight. Let's see if anybody out in the chat, man, can guess right fast, because that's our next question. This thing going to go 34 laps here to complete this one here at Bristol Motor Speedway tonight for the Sim500 Monday Night Money Winter Series. It'll be interesting to see, can it go green flag? We're pretty spread out right now.
Yeah, the longer we go, the better the odds. There is a lot of traffic that within about 5 laps the leaders are going to get to, and those guys are on the lead lap competing for positions within the top 20, at least within the top 15, actually 16 on the lead lap. But there's a whole pack from 9th through 15th, and I think if we have caution, it's going to come from that pack as desperation grows. But certainly, the longer we go, the better odds that we'll get to the finish here. The finish is only 32 laps away.
Yep, absolutely, and that means business will start picking up. Good battle about to unload here for the 5th and 6th spot, and actually for the 5th, 6th, and 7th spot there, as Brian Daly's got his hands full with E.J. O'Rourke, and Chad Cole says, well, I'm going to go ahead and come to the party. He goes on the inside, and we'll take it door to door. Coming out of the turn, come across the line, couldn't make that pass right there, though, yet.
Yeah, Chad Cole, it seems like every time we've gone to his truck, he's been working the bottom. E.J. O'Rourke there on the high side. Cole clears him. This is a battle for 6th right here. Byron Daly is the last car in the top 5. But Chad Cole looks like the longer we go, the more speed he has. I don't know if I would call him a conservative driver, but it certainly seems like he gets better as the race goes on, as the green flags tick off.
Listen. All right, we got old John Marine out there, says 8 so far. So, all right, let's see if that holds true. Summary for tonight of 148 laps of 175, 11 lead changes, 7 cautions. So that's actually not bad for the race here tonight, folks. I would have thought with this many trucks, my hat's off to these guys here at the Sim500 for bringing it here to Bristol, the battleground here of motorsports, the last great Coliseum, and coming out here and doing some awesome things. Because I'm going to be honest with you, Harrison, I've been in here with Les Fields and broadcasting, seen some races, and it's been well up there.
Absolutely. And I think that's what Sim500 wants to provide here, races that go green, race it out on the track. As we speak, the lead battle is heating up a little bit. Michael Guest has caught Malik Ray. Malik's been running the bottom more and more, possibly because it's cooler down there with this dynamic track conditions, just trying to find faster racetrack. But it's absolutely right. You never know what you're going to get with Bristol, and usually you get cautions.
Yep, and that's true. Cautions breed cautions, and I think we've seen it. Had a few cautions earlier on. Guys just spinning. Now they've kind of learned this track a little bit here. And John said, man, 1 over. Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing is you've got to be mindful. Now, you can also see this track as it's went on. Look how dark those turns have gotten. From the start of this race, I think that's unique to watch, Harrison, over the course of a race, how the racetrack starts to rubber up and darken.
It really is cool. It's a nice addition to iRacing, and a lot of times it happens without you really noticing. And then when you compare how it looks at the beginning of the race versus how it looks now, it could shock you. It's a huge difference, and it gives you some clues to where you can run.
Yeah, and you know what? That's what I say. I get a privilege to talk to a lot of the peak antifreeze driver, iRacing pro drivers, and some of those guys. Well, they said the same thing you said there. It gives you an idea where to run, where to go for grip, because you have to move around, and that's what we've seen Malik Ray do here. Move around as he's having to through the slap traffic, but he went high. We've seen the high groove work a lot, but he's went low too, and we've seen that low groove work a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. It certainly changes throughout a run. What also makes it change a little bit is what the guy behind you is doing. Michael Guest searching just the same, and Malik is trying to position himself in a place where he's not in a vulnerable spot. He goes way high there. Probably a bit of a defensive move. We've seen Malik really hugging the bottom more in these recent laps. Goes high here. A lot of the lap trucks look like they're going to stay toward the bottom. But, I mean, Michael Guest, a lot of speed. Side by side for the lead right now. 74, it's going to be a tough pass to make. It's been all run, but Michael Guest has a lot of speed. But Malik Ray's out here doing all he can to hold him off.
Yeah, 17 to go, though it is go time here. He's going to have to pull out all the stops, and boy, they'll take it 3 wide out of the turn. They'll still go door to door. Will he use the 9 truck to his advantage? Yes, he will, and he almost gets it done. Can't, as the 1 of Malik Ray powers on the outside. They'll beat and bang coming out of the turn.
Yeah, you see Malik Ray running more towards the middle, trying to use grip more toward the bottom, trying to hold that 74 down so he can't sweep up on the straightaways. But Michael Guest just hugging that bottom with all that grip. I mean, a lot of speed down at the bottom. Just can't quite clear the number 1 of Malik Ray.
No, he can't. And I tell you what, hats off to the 18. He clears him that time. He's slide jobbed up in front. Well, here's the thing. We got to talk about it. Bump and run. I call it the kick and run, as these guys definitely can do it here. And it's a short track. It's been done many a times. And I think Malik Ray on that last pass there, the 18 machine, he moved up just enough for him to stay side by side. But ultimately, Michael Guest was able to make that pass. Now, how much tires did it use up on that 74?
Yeah, absolutely, because Guest was charging hard for a lot of this run. I think we saw him kind of back off and regroup a couple times, but for the most part, it seemed like Malik Ray kept doing his thing and Guest kept trying to get there, kept trying to make a move to complete that pass. He only has to hold him off for 11 laps from here, but certainly they look like 2 very different driving styles in this one. Guest pulling away that little bit, but it seems to come and go like peaks and valleys, like a mountain, just back and forth. So we'll see if the number 1 of Malik Ray can mount the charge here toward the end.
You know what's amazing, as we watched throughout this race, everybody went in and went to the high side, and as the rubber laid down, now everybody's found that the low line groove is a faster. We were talking about a dynamic track conditions here. That's the thing, and Michael Guest has found that out front and is moving away from Malik Ray with 9 to go. 2 things to think about, Harrison, is obviously last lap 175, that ends it. 5-4 to go, caution comes out, that ends it.
Yeah, and that's certainly on these drivers' minds. They don't have the green-white checker to lean on in case a caution were to come out. So the white flag that the people see in the Cup Series there that signifies next flag ends it, well, that's 5 to go here. It's still a long time. Now, if we were to get to the white flag, a caution won't fall. They'll let them race back in this game. But they certainly they either want a caution now or a caution not to fall at all if they're trying to get to the leader.
Absolutely. Tell you what, just to think about it, and I had to look over here just to show you how fast Michael Guest and Malik Ray are out there just blazing around this place. There's only 7 trucks on the lead lap. That's what they've been doing to the field.
I mean, that's really surprising to me. I had no expectations of only 7 trucks remaining on the lead lap in this one.
Absolutely not. Especially how it started out. A few cautions. Oh, and Justin Fuller's slides and loses it, hits the wall, no caution, and he's actually the 3rd place man. That's going to let Thomas George actually catch up just a little bit there. But man, I tell you what, the 51, he's out there battling that thing.
Yeah, and he was battling the lap car when that mistake happened, and it's just, now he has to worry about the trucks behind him. But Fuller was trying to get everything he could there in lap traffic. was able to save it, which is great for him, especially so close to the finish here.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, a lot of lap traffic out here. Looks like these guys, man, are just dealing with some very treacherous trucks right now and just trying to hang on. Still a good battle right here as Michael Guest is walking away from Malik Ray. He's got a 1.2 second lead with 2 to go. Good battle, so I'm going to watch this battle here because it's the best one I see right now between Byron Daly, E.J. O'Rourke, and Chad Cole. They're all right there as Chad Cole's doing a good drift job.
Yeah, Chad Cole right in front of these. Chad Cole was battling with those guys. That drift job unfortunately takes him back a little bit where he might not be able to compete for those positions, but it's been a nice battle back there for about that 5th place spot.
Absolutely. Well, E.J. O'Rourke's trying to take it on as we got the white flag, checkered flags out. Michael Guest is going to pull this one off. E.J. O'Rourke's going to try it. He does a slide job. Can't get it done out of 4. Brian Daly's going to hang on to 5th place, but our man tonight winner, that 74 machine, wow, he set Malik up when he needed to make the pass and survived here at Bristol International Speedway, or Bristol Motor Speedway, excuse me, for an exciting race here for the Sim500 Monday Night Winter Series for the trucks. What a race, Harrison, what a race.
And I'm glad we got some green laps in to really see them race it out, but incredible race. You know, sometimes you worry about cautions like you were saying. We went green for a long time to end this one.
Absolutely. Well, that's the thing too. You know, that's what we like to see. You know, you see a few cautions here. Cautions breed cautions. And then actually, after a while, these guys settle down. You got some green flags. So everything here for Bristol had some hard charging racing, and I'm trying to wait to see if these guys jump up here and to speak things so we can get a talk in with them. Because I do not see Justin Fuller, Malik Ray, or Michael Guest.
Yeah, and I think right now Justin Fuller, I see talking to one of the people that he was racing against here over the course of this run. We should be able to catch them shortly. Michael Guest celebrating on the front stretch after his 2nd win of the season. He won the opener at Chicago. He won right here at Bristol. 2 very different racetracks too, by the way, which tells you, he's going to be a factor everywhere we go.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I tell you what, I see Malik's up in here. He's down there in the green room. We're waiting to see if Justin Fuller's going to jump up in here, unless he's under a different name. And again, I want to appreciate everybody coming out here because it was a wild one. A very, very good race here at Bristol. There's Justin. All right, good deal. There's Justin. He's in here, so we'll wait for our winner tonight, Michael Guest. But while we wait, I'm going to bring up old Justin Fuller and let's get a talk in with him, Harrison. 3rd place man.
Absolutely, Justin Fuller, 3rd place man. Justin Fuller, 3rd place tonight at Bristol. Maybe a race that went a little bit differently than expected as far as caution count. We had a little bit early on, then it really had a green flag look to it. But tonight, with it being green so much, how did the track change? It looked like it changed a lot throughout the event.
Yeah, a lot of lines worked tonight. It was a really good race, a lot of fun. Most of the lap cars did a pretty good job for us. I don't expect them to, just move over and let us go. They got their own race to run, but that was a lot of fun. Between Malik, Michael, and myself, we brawled for, good portion of that race, and that final run, I got the wall with the right rear and slapped the right front and knocked the toe out a little bit, so couldn't keep pace with them, but all in all, that was a lot of fun. A lot of grooves, that made for a great race.
And we saw you racing with Michael Guest a lot, as you said, just a brawl for the lead for quite a while. When you were near him, did you see anything that he was doing different that you thought, oh, I should have been doing that, or something to learn from what he was doing?
Honestly, I think I was a little bit faster than Michael when I was right behind him. But he checked out on me on another restart. I don't know, just, I was better on the cycle of tires at that point in time because we had a lot of cautions there in the beginning. We hadn't pitted. I finally got by him and I checked out and we had another caution and we ended up pitting. And I never got a good pit stop, so I always lost my track position every time we pitted. But, all the lines really worked. A lot of people ran the top, so it got really hot up there, so didn't really happen to be the most aggressive and the fastest way around the track. Bottom actually ended up being the fastest way around, especially towards the end of the race on old tires. And I wouldn't have expected that, but it was, and it was a lot of fun.
Certainly looked like it, and even, as you said, catching the wall and knocking the toe out, still finishing third. I'd say that's a great finish, another top 5 for you. You already won this year, so it's looking good, and congrats on another podium. And who would you like to thank?
I want to thank you guys for broadcasting the race Sim500. All the admins that put this together. The third place finish, that's a pretty good turnaround from Atlanta last week. We didn't run too good there. We had a lot of speed, but we were very bad on the long run. So I thank everybody at Aftermath Motorsports, you guys here for broadcasting up in the booth, and I'm sure it was a great broadcast. I'm sure it was a lot of fun to broadcast for you guys, and I'm sure it's fun to watch from everybody at home.
Oh, we appreciate that. Congrats again on a third place finish. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Have a good night.
All right, that's Justin Fuller, our third place man there tonight. He definitely had a good survival race and a good race there and a good finish. Well, let's bring up old Malik Ray here. That's our second place man here tonight. He is did a good job. Almost pulled this thing off.
Yeah, certainly. Malik Ray was up there in the lead for quite a while. Malik Ray, second place finish tonight. You've been a contender in all of these races so far. Haven't quite got a victory lane yet. Been a short season so far. We just got going here, but defending champion of Monday Night Money Series, and you held off Michael Guest for quite a while. He ended up getting to the lead, pulling away a little bit. In retrospect, is there anything that you would have done differently in that battle?
Not really, to be honest. I knew he was faster than me after like 20 or 30, so that's why I was driving pretty hard to keep up or to keep the lead, because I knew that once we got into lap traffic and as the race went on, it was going to be harder and harder to keep him off. But I wouldn't have done anything differently. Probably would have right hooked him.
Was lap traffic a little different than expected? Were they unpredictable? Certainly, it plays a big factor when you're in the middle of a heated battle.
Some of the lap cars were unpredictable, the same people every week. But I mean, the majority of them, they stayed out of the way. They stayed in their lanes, and they made it easy to predict where they were going. Minus 3 or 4 here, but other than that, no.
Did anything surprise you about how the track changed throughout the event? Certainly, conditions really seemed to change a lot that opened up the grooves.
Yes, I was not expecting the bottom to be as fast as it was. I was expecting it to just be to have to run on the outside like how it's been for the past few years. But being able to move around and stuff is a lot more friendly to race around.
Certainly, and Kim, which is a little bit short tonight, but another great run, lots of laps led. Step away with another second place finish. So it's a great showing tonight. The great race at Bristol. Who makes it happen for you? Who would you like to thank?
You admins for adminning and broadcasting the race and making it, able to race in the series. I appreciate it a lot. And yes, that was fun racing up against him. Happy that me and him won the race.
So we appreciate it, and congrats again. Thanks for joining us here at the booth.
Thanks, Scott.
All right, Harrison, well, I'm going to tell you what, I'm going to run on down here, man. Scoot off down to Victory Lane. That was Malik Ray right there. Gave everything he had to try to pull it off here tonight. Just a little bit short there at the end, and a great battle with this man here that's down in Victory Lane tonight, because the number 74 machine worked it out here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Michael Guest, you're waiting in the booth. Got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
I'll tell you what, tonight, wow, Bristol, typical. Last great Coliseum, very frustrating of a track. How'd you feel going through here and working your way through lap traffic, and then having to try to figure out a way to get around Malik up there up front?
Well, coming in with having such a big field, I mean, I was definitely nervous of what could have happened. Luckily, I was able to stay out of the early trouble, and just once we got green, just the lap cars were great and the grooves were working. It was a blast, between me, Fuller, and Malik. We probably exchanged the lead 5 or 6 times, and it was just a great brawl between all of us.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely was throughout the whole entire race. One thing we noticed there, me and Harrison was talking about, everybody took that high line early on and then went down low. Was there something y'all was trying to find out what the grip was on the track? Was the groove actually moving throughout the race?
Yeah, well, right from the start, I started on the pole, and then Fuller got past me pretty quickly, or I can't remember if he got past me, but he got beside me using the bottom, and that's why I realized like the high side was just a little bit too tight. So for me, the entire race, the bottom was the ideal groove because I was just able to hook it around the apron, and it just felt really good down there.
Well, did you think you had anything to get around Malik out there? You tried it one time, tried to get him up there with a lap car, wasn't able to get it done. Did you think you eventually was going to able to get back up there and get by him to get this win tonight?
Typically at Bristol, it's easy to run out of time, and luckily I tried enough to finally get past him. But it was really hard. Malik was pinching me, which he should, and I was getting really loose. My right rear was fried, and I kept having to back it down to try to cool it off. And yeah, it was definitely a hard battle.
Absolutely. Well, we were seeing you and a bunch of others having the same exact problems. Very, very, very slick coming off, very treacherous conditions out here. Well, hey, you pulled it off nonetheless with the Sim500 Monday Night Winter Series here for the trucks, and it was an awesome thing here at Bristol Motor Speedway. You got anybody out there you want to thank, Michael?
Yeah, JD for painting my car, and Racer Bruce, my sponsor, and Malik for a really clean race, my teammate, and Sim500 for putting on this great league. It's really fun battling a bunch of clean racers.
Absolutely it is. It was an awesome show out there. You guys did all night long from the green to the checkered. Nice run here again. Congratulations to the man pulling it off here at Bristol, Michael Guest.
Thanks.
All right, Harrison, we'll tell you what. Wow, what a run. Those two guys gave us all night long. 38 machines here tonight, battled it out here in a battle on a battle-style track here. Got any final thoughts on this one, Harrison?
You know, a little bit unexpected for Bristol, but fantastic to see, you know, it being battled out under green flag conditions. Certainly, we were worried about the caution count, and it wasn't really there. So I think it was a fantastic race to watch.
Absolutely, I agree with you right there. Hey, folks, well, we're glad I was able to bring this thing to you here, and I appreciate everybody tuning in tonight, as we'll be here next week. And I don't want to tell you what track, because off the top of my head, I don't want to mess it up. Maybe Harrison knows, though.
Oh, we're going to another 1.5 next week.
Yeah.
I forget which one, though. I believe it's Vegas.
I think that's it. Yep, Vegas, I believe it is. Either way, we're going to be back here at OSRNetwork. We're going to be back for the Sim500 here for the Monday Night Money Winter Series, folks. So tune in here live on YouTube, Twitch, and Iracing Live. As always, I'm Joe White up here in the booth, accompanied by Harrison. Everyone, have a good night.